What up, traders? What up, investors? Ken here from Dyslexic Investor, and we're looking at a very different case. We're looking at the Senator Loeffler, and her husband selling millions of shares, millions of dollars worth of shares, previously, right before a lot of very closed-door meetings in the Senate and in the House of Representatives with very important people discussing the COVID-19. This is early February when things were not even really stateside yet, and we were just hearing a lot of the stuff about China. I just wanted to kind of go through a lot of the stocks that they say they didn't sell, and they just sold. The thing is I've watched multiple interviews of them, but they haven't said anything like, hey, we're welcoming an investigation. This is just how they're constantly saying it's a third party. We have advisors just like the average Joe, but average Joes are not selling $13 million of an exchange that you're the CEO of. It's kind of strange, right? And then reportedly selling nearly $50,000 worth of stock and booking right before the president announced things. There's just too many red flags here, to be quite honest. And the sense of all these things kind of like coming together, it's just kind of like, yeah, you're innocent until proven guilty, but there's just too many things are popping up on saying that you didn't buy this, but you did buy it. It's kind of strange, this activity. I know you're saying that you don't talk to your advisors, but you're saying that you have been trading and investing heavily in the last 20 years. So it's not just, you just don't turn that off. I find that very strange on the sense of how much of the things they buy. And this says that they sold a undisclosed amount of put options on companies including Kellogg's, Alibaba, Chevron, and BP. That's reportedly from the Bloomberg News. These trades indicate income of the premium collected from the puts of the sales. So basically, if you know what put options are, you want the company to go down. So in Kellogg's, which I haven't even traded that. Again, they don't give the exact date when they bought these, and when the overall stuff came out with the bookings of how often when she sold that. So this is a lot of red flags. So on February 26th, the couple sold $3.5 million worth of the Intercontinental Exchange shares that her husband runs at an average price of $93. Then they sold $15 million of the same things a little bit less than a month later when the stock was around 87, and now the stock's around 81. The stock's been down about 15 to 14% in just the last month. So it just seems a little strange, a little again, we'll see what happens. We'll keep an eye on this. I definitely smell something a little suspicious. So then we can look at some booking. So this is one of the stocks that she sold about for $50 million towards the beginning of February, and that was basically when a lot of the other stuff was happening. And they don't give the exact date, but it was towards the end of February, when it had the initial pullback. The quarter was fairly well received, but it was just the big worry of China. Again, if she had insider knowledge of that they might be doing XYZ, closing airlines, closing hotels, closing any big gatherings, this could have been a huge indicator on that behalf. There's another article that I read too, that the travel stocks was, again, the $46,000 amount. And then they said between the February 14th, that's when they sold nearly $3 million of different various stocks. Again, this is not a small portfolio that her and her husband are owning. If you're trading, and the way she kind of brushes off of how much of it's just a small percentage of things like that. So here's the kicker. So according to the filings, in late February and early March, they purchased between $166,000 to $415,000 in DuPont stock. All right. DuPont is basically, they had, I wouldn't say they had knowledge, which is DD. So let's go look at that. They're working around the clock on making a lot of the protective materials and different various to increase the capacities for protective garments, face masks, and different things like that. We're basically in high demand. So that was in late February. So basically here to here. They're so late February, basically here, buying right around the dividend day, to early March, which is basically here. They are down on the position, but their next quarter might be wonderful because they're going to be pushing higher. The couple also purchased about $50,000 in Amazon stock, $250,000 in Chevron stock, and $350,000 in CME stock, according to disclosure. They simultaneously sold off between $100,000 to $250,000 worth of DocuSign, up to $150,000 on Facebook, and other holdings like Lulu, TJ Maxx, and Ross. So those filings aren't really eye-dropping. It's the other senators as well, in the sense of, like the Senator Richard Burr from North Carolina, I believe. It's just, it doesn't ramp up very well, where other people who had the same knowledge basically sold off of multiple other things as well, on getting in this various investment or closed door meetings, and then being able to turn that around and kind of profit from that. There was someone from San Francisco or something like that who sold off a bunch of Disney stock, about $50,000 to $60,000 of Disney, but right before the crash. And Disney, like that you just sidestepped a lot, and that was like in the end of February. Again, if they sold it off at $130, it went down to $80 and still below $100 today. Like that's a huge chunk that you could have, that you dodged. And it's very strange that a lot of these individuals, I don't know too much about how they're monitored. I know they have to file for it if you're in political office, but there has to be another level of like, hey, today I'm selling XYZ. The thing is why the Kelly Loeffler or whatever is getting so much grief is after she sold a lot of these stocks, and it was like March 10th, where it was lots of the lows. So we can look at SPY. Like this day, the 10th of March, where she was coming out and saying that everything's going to be fine, that the U.S. government is going to put everything in place, being able to continue to strive through this, and America's going to bounce back. But it gives a very strange vibe because it came after where she sold all those positions, and it basically sidestepped a 30, some positions 40% decline in these different various stocks, on basically with the one with her husband's put options. Basically Chevron and BP got annihilated. We can go look at those guys real fast. Let's go ahead and look at Chevron, which is CVX. It doesn't say exactly when that time frame was when they sold it, but it was towards the end of February. So basically around this time frame for the initial first drop, and buying puts. Let's just say they bought it at, I don't know, 110. Let's just be safe. So we're gonna go. If he's a smart investor, he probably bought a couple months out. We're gonna see the 110 put. It's at $30. Oh my God. Yeah, that's. Let's see here. The guy said I could click on it, but it's not working. Copy charts. Come on. We'll see how much this particular option price was. regarding in basically the month of February. Once it loads, please load. Oh, I'm looking for a weekly. Ugh, I did this wrong. I'm sorry, guys. Shoot. CVX. Let's go back. I want to go to like May, the monthlies. Let's go here. Copy. Boom. All right. So they purchased that towards the end of, again, February, looking anywhere between $5 or $7, and then that $5 or $7 option, basically put option, depending on when they sold it. You can see the price just a couple weeks ago in the mid of March. So basically they unloaded a lot of positions, they said around the 10th. So they bought an option for $5 or $7 and then sold it for $30. All right, so that's nearly 5 times the amount. That's quite a position, and both of them are very well off. So these options they're putting a lot of capital to work, and I really just want to see what happens, if there is anything to prove. And I think this is just going to help regulate on how people with certain abilities to get news and a lot of other things before other individuals, because I don't know how they're going to prove that, oh, I was in a meeting, I heard something, and then I called my broker, or I sent a note over, whatever, a secret way of doing it, and I kind of tipped them or somehow. Like, the insider trading, it's very difficult to change or figure out how it happens. It's just super strange that multiple senators and House Congress people sold so much stock previously to a horrible downturn in the market. So it's a red flag for sure. I just want to I want to see what you guys think down below on what potentially. Do you guys think this is insider trading? It's a little scummy on my behalf, but we'll just see what happens. I'm just following the story. Just want to kind of do something different and kind of highlight some of these particular trades that these individuals have done, even though they're in office with a little bit more power than you and I and knowledge of certain things. I think they should kind of disconnect from that, but that's just my opinion. Again, guys, thank you so much for watching. This is Ken from the Dyslexic Investor, and I'll catch you guys on the flip side. Peace.